Hello guys, and welcome to another video. And in this video we're going to talk about our track design and layout. Before we do that though, so I think it was back on, I guess it's maybe the first video, I'd mentioned the option of downloading open source model railroad design software called Xtrax. I had to reinstall mine. The latest version that was available for me, I think it was like 4.3 right here. It was not exporting in the data exchange format, which is kind of the universal language that all the CAD programs use. So what I did is I uninstalled the 4.3 and then I navigated to this xtractcad.org. Came down here to download XtractCAD and scrolled down to the bottom and went to this older versions here, and the version that I installed was this 4.2.3b. so I think that's what I had installed previously, and it seemed to work just fine. So I remembered the B in the revision, the software revision there. So anyway, long story short, I downloaded and installed the 4.2.3b. So if you're following along with this video and you want to do this and you're finding that it's not working, this could very well be the reason why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Xtract. Now when you first come into it, you probably won't have this up here. What I did is, so I went under File and Parameter Files, and this is the parameter file that I'm using here, this Atlas Code 83 HO scale, and that'll give you all these tracks up here. So we're just looking at it in plan view, so it doesn't really matter if it's 83 or 100 or 70 or whatever. But so if you come in here and go under Browse, you have all these parameter files you can kind of like plug into the program, if you will. And the one that I've selected is this Atlas 83 HO. Just select it and hit open, and the checkbox will be in there, and then you just hit OK. If they're still not showing up, go under File and go under Open, and let's see, I thought maybe they might have, I was thinking maybe they might have some yeah, I don't see any in the demos. I know at the 4.3, which is the version I had installed that wasn't working, they had some demos in there, and so when I opened the demos, all these showed up at the top. So hopefully you'll be able to get that to work. But so if you've gotten to this point and you have this little palette up here with all these tracks, segments of track up here, what we're going to do is the premise is this, is we're going to take the turnouts that we're going to be using on our layout, and we're just going to be exporting them out so we can bring them into our draft site program. So I searched the internet high and low for specs for the Atlas turnouts, and I could not find anything. The only thing I could find was kind of an overall length and the actual turnout length. So I couldn't find anything on the closure radius or anything like that. But anyway, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to use the number 4. So just click on it, come down here and click on the screen, and then hit enter. And then I'm going to use the left number 4. Same thing, and then we're going to come over here, and I don't know if I'm going to use number 4s on mine, but I'm going to go ahead and just do this kind of in all one motion here so I don't have to come back and do it. So I'm going to use the number 6, the right, and the number 6 left. And so yeah, this is applicable to anything. So if you wanted to load up, if we come back in here and look, see if I can find let's see, Walthers makes the all the buildings and stuff, or not all of them, but a lot of them. So let me click on, I don't know if that's, sorry guys, I didn't want this to be, oh, it's just Walthers, it's the Walthers track. So, but there are buildings and stuff on here too. And I was wanting to show you how to load up some of these buildings in here. Okay, I'm spinning here and this video is going to get really long, so I don't want to do that. So I'm not, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull off, but you can check some of these out, and after you load them, just come up here and scroll over to the right and see what all it puts in there. You can see all these are new now. These are all Walthers products. So yeah, okay. So I'm just going to unload the Walthers. Okay. So what we want to do now is we want to come in here and select all, and then what we're going to do is go under File and then Export DXF, and I'm going to put that on my desktop, and this is one that I've already exported. I'm just going to override that one. So now we have this on our desktop. So I'm going to open this up, just double click on it. Now you can import the DXF into your file, but I recommend not to do that, and I'll show you why here in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and Z for zoom, E for extents, and I'm going to turn my cap lock on. So yeah, here's the number 6 turnouts, and here's the number 4s. So what we're really interested in is this center line of the actual track. So we don't really want all these ties and stuff. So what we're going to do is let's leave this open for a second, and let's go ahead and open up our project. Okay. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to go back into this where we brought in the turnouts, and first thing I want to do is I want to see what the distance is from this end. Actually, let me do the number 6, because I know for a fact the number 6 is 12 inches long, or 1 foot. So if we do a circle and just draw it from one end to the other, and then click on the circle, and we come down here, well, the way they had their units set up in X-Track, you know, they drew it as 12 inches, you know, in their program. However, in the way we have ours set up, it's actually 12 feet. So what we need to do is we need to scale these down. So I'm going to type in SC for scale. Just window everything, give it a base point. Whoop, missed that one up there. Give it a base point, and I'm going to type in that 0.08333333. Okay, so now if we come in and draw a circle, it should have 1 foot, and we do. Okay, so now what we want to do is there's a couple of different ways you could do this. Let's just get all the, remember I was telling you in a previous video, if you window from right to left, you don't have to get the whole entity, you can only get a portion of it and it'll select it. So let's do that. So let's grab, leaving the center line, remember the center line is the dashed line. I'm going to erase that. I want to keep this line and this line. So I'm going to come in here and grab some more of this in here. Now if you erase something and you're like, oh, I didn't want to erase that, just hit Control Z and it'll bring it back up on the screen for you. So really we only needed one of each. We could use the mirror command, and I think I'm going to do that just to make things, speed things up. So when you bring a DXF into a drawing, it basically, if you remember from an earlier video, I said that there's an explode command and it'll separate the polyline back into all of its original entities, and that's what's happened here. So that would be our number 4. So let's do this. Let's take, well, let's just leave that as it is. I'm going to mirror when we bring it into the other program. So I don't even need this one here. I'm going to erase the number 6, one of them anyway. I'm going to come in here and do that same thing. So I'm just going to window right from left. Try to grab this. Again, we're only interested in these long dashed lines. I mean, I guess you could come in and if you could find some specs on it, then you could do this. You know, you could use those to achieve this, but I found this to be, and you only need one. Once you got your example, then you can just copy everything. You can just copy it, and you don't have to redraw it every time. Okay, so we have that up to that point. Now, you could save this if you wanted as another DWG file or a drawing file, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select Control C, or I could go up here and go Edit Copy. So let's do that. I'm going to window that. And you know, before we do that, one of the things that I wanted to mention was the reason you don't want to bring that directly into your drawing is because it has all these layers, and so you'd have to come back and you know, delete all those layers. You don't want those in your actual project. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all these on layer 0. Okay, so I'm going to window and just change it to layer 0. Okay, so now everything's on layer 0. Then what we want to do is just edit copy, and then we will come into our project, and I'm just going to paste that, and hopefully it pasted somewhere where we could find it. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's still hanging on. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it right there for right now. Now let's check that and make sure that that is still indeed a foot on number 6. And it is, it's still a foot. Okay, so now what you could do is you could come in here and you create a layer. You could either call it track or turnout. I'm just going to keep all of mine on a track layer, so I'm just going to create a new layer, call it track. In fact, did I already have that? Yeah, I already had that, didn't I? Okay, let me delete that. Okay, so we have track, and we have it set up on this line type with track, right? So what we want to do is I'm going to clean this up just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join since the straight part is actually two separate entities where they have the diverging route coming in, I'm going to join those two straight parts. It's asking me to turn it in. Yes, I want to turn it into one, and I want to join it. Okay, and then I'm going to change that to the track layer, and the line type is going to be, because right now it's still trying to hold on to dash, we want to change it by layer. Okay, and I know that don't look right, we'll come back to that in a second. So right now I want to go ahead and join again. I want to join the straight part, and I want to put those on the track layer, and the line type by layer. Okay, so now what it's doing is it's taking this pattern and it's trying to hang on to what they remember when we had opened up the DXF file. You know, it was 12 feet instead of 12 inches. So the way that we fix that is we just come in here, we can window that, and then we can come over here to our line type scale and type in, you can make it really whatever you want. I'm going to make mine probably about point, let's see what 0.1 looks like. Okay, so there we go. So we have our two turnouts, at least the right ones anyway. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror MI, if you remember that command. Select what we want to mirror, and then we'll give it the start point, and you know, you can just, it doesn't have to be perfect, you can just, right there is fine. But here we don't want to delete the source file, we want to keep the other turnout. So go ahead and select no, in for no. And there we go, we have our right and our left turnout. And let's do the same thing for this one up here. Do not delete source file. Okay, so there we go. So it's that same process for anything that you want to bring in from this program. And so I should probably cut the video here because I don't want it to be too long. So in the next video we'll start looking at actually, you know, drafting or plotting up our track and see what kind of design, you know, we'd like to try to get. So until then, we'll see you in the next video.